That baked
The
tofu.
Snickers is the only ones I pick out of there.
Okay, you don't have to go that far. I mean,
It
I
was
understand,
good.
you know,
You had a what?
Baked tofu with baked,
Oh, that's disgusting.
baked broccoli. No, over zucchini noodles.
I like zucchini. I could eat the zucchini noodles, but not the tofu.
I just eat raw fish for 6 months.
I'm proud of you.
You know?
I'm proud of you.
I think it's a texture thing.
See, and I like this.
Just eat crawfish.
Multiple ways.
That's what I did last time.
Oh,
You need to come to the all you can eat crawfish event.
Oh, that's this weekend?
No.
We've got 4 houses.
Yeah.
It's 4 o'clock, so we're gonna get started.
Damn, you have $10. I give you my $50. Forget it.
All right, the City Council and Planning and Zoning Commission Joint Special Meeting Thursday, April 20th, 2023, 4 p.m. The City Council will call our meeting to order.
Planning and Zoning Commission will also call our meeting to order.
All right, we'll start item number 3, public hearing, which is an item discussing moving forward Port Aransas 2023 comprehensive plan.
We didn't have a silent seat, so.
Okay, anybody in the audience wish to speak in this public hearing section? Okay.
Hi, good
Hello.
afternoon. My name is Felicia Foster and my address is 315 Oleander. I just had a quick question on the comprehensive plan because the attached draft was dated February. And so I was wondering if there were any additional comments incorporated after the draft. After the draft date, because we had public comment open after that. It's my only question.
Okay, thanks, Felicia. We'll address that. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on number 4, which is actually citizen comments and reports, giving any citizen an opportunity to speak if they signed up. Okay, we'll move on to number 5, which is the item for discussion, discuss and take action on the following comprehensive plan.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council and Planning and Zoning Commission. My name is Dan Sefco. Also with me tonight is Erica Craycraft. Just like to answer the question. Yeah, there is the latest draft with all the comments addressed, and it's dated 4/13. And in fact, Ms. Craycraft can give you a copy if you haven't got a current copy. I have a presentation. It's similar to the last one that we saw, but I thought it'd be appropriate at the public hearing here to run through it. It's a little shorter. If you permit me, I'll go ahead and run through it, and then I'll turn it back over to the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council for deliberation and consideration. Just by way of introduction, quick overview of the plan development process, the community input process that we went through. Some of the highlights that are in the plan, and then the last slide is our recommended next steps for the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council tonight. Just by way of introduction, the process, we have had a very thorough process, but to refresh everybody, the plan is our 20-year vision for Port Aransas, and it's going to facilitate the decisions that your Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council make. It's a guide for your discussion on land uses, basis for city policy. It also informs your zoning decisions as well as a basis for your capital improvement plan. But this is not the zoning ordinance. It's not a rigid policy. It's not the final answer. We still have all of the things going on our national landscape and across the state, but this here is in Port Aransas, and it's what we have control over. So this plan scope, there's a snapshot in there that gives some data and facts about Port Aransas, our vision that we worked on, the housing and land use character, as well as transportation and public facilities. And then at the end, there's an action plan with all of the actions listed. And I'll get to that in a moment. The schedule, as you can see here, has gone on for quite some time. We had a joint public workshop last month. Tonight, we are at the public hearing, joint public hearing with the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council. The input process, we had The city council appointed a CPAC, a Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee. We met with them seven times at least. And then we also have had opportunities for the public. Community representatives have spoken. We've also had multiple drafts that we've had input on. And the CPAC committee really acted as ambassadors of the process, and they were very helpful in spreading the words. All this has been on the website, so you can get on the website and see all the actions that have been made. And so all of that has been able and up and running for information to the public and the business, interested businesses. The first one was in February of last year. It was a brisk, cool night. Well, that was the first one. It was at the theater. And then the next two meetings, at the first meeting, we asked people what they thought and what they wanted, what were they interested in Port Aransas, kind of to get a listening mode going on. The second one, we looked at preliminary suggestions and discussions. And then at the last one, which was September 20th, we presented the goals and objectives at another open house where everybody could see the recommended actions. The 28th, we also had a virtual open house where people could enter in their comments on anything they would like to say or see. If they could not make the open houses, they could chime in on the virtual open house on the website. So all these added up to 3 open houses where we had a lot of opportunity for input and information. The newspaper, the South Jetty, was really great in helping us spread the word. They had reporters at every meeting. Some of the highlights of the plan. We started off creating guiding principles where we looked at big picture ideas, and we wanted multiple goals that reached across many different areas. We also included some metrics to how to measure over time, but you can see the 5 guiding principles there that range from quality of life and protecting our natural environment, as well as protecting our family-oriented lifestyle here on the island, and also responsible tourism. That's a part of our life here in Port Aransas, and so that was very important to us, as well as support of local businesses. The framework of the plan, this is the way it lays out when you read it. It has the chapters, and then underneath of those chapters, there's all the goals, and then the actions load in under those. So that's how it's organized. There is some information in there about population. We mentioned this last time, the population right below 3,000 folks. But if you remember, the official census population was taken April 1st, 2020. So if you remember, that was when the first month we really shut down for COVID. So I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what the census has for us here for that population on that date. But we also looked at existing land use and building permits, and we also reviewed short-term rentals. We wanted to make sure we totally understood what was going on with the short-term rental picture here on the island. We came up with a number of goals that ranged from protecting the natural resources to public services, also on transportation as well. As you notice, there's a couple of recommendations in terms of new connections and collector streets. The future land use plan, which is here to my left on the screen as well, that's the long range plan that informs zoning. It also informs decisions about improvements and things of those at that nature. It has the town square development as well as mixed use nodes on it noted. The ultimate population capacity, this is the second part of your population story. You have a census reported occupancy, which I mentioned a minute ago, but yet you have a summertime population of the 111 days that are occupied here by people visiting. And so the best we can tell by counting hotel rooms and other information, we're looking at around 80,000 for a summertime population. So you can see how in the wintertime, it's 3,000, in the summer, it's 80,000, and that's challenging to plan for. So here are some of the highlights. We did have a location for a town square. We did not design it, but it has an opportunity for being an open space or other improvements, working with surrounding property owners. We have, there's Old Town recommendations. There is a boundary in there, but the recommendations are that there needs to be further study on determining standards such as setback heights and other compatibility issues. There is a natural resource protection plan. We think that is very, very important, and that needs to be continued to look at from time to time. There's a proposal in there for our location for the new marina. It does not prescribe what goes in it. It gives some examples what could go in it, but it's a recommendation for a location of the marina, not necessarily the plan for that. There are other things in the plan that relate to image, trying to make sure we have positive gateways and landscaping. There's recommendations that go all the way down to maybe increasing the beach fees to maybe get the tourism part to pay for themselves a little more, maybe raising those. Continue to, there's a committee set up to look at STRs, and that needs to continue, and they will continue to look at that. There's a recommendation for some different things like maybe shared off-street parking and a number of other issues to help make sure those continue to be compatible with the existing neighborhoods. There is a residential infill overlay and RIO that's proposed north of 1A. So that's a larger area than the Old Town area, but there is a recommendation in it that when those two are actually looked at, that they be looked at together to make sure that the boundaries for each are correct. Affordable housing considerations, there's some issues in there identified that we want to make sure that there's housing for city, municipal, school district workers, that they have a place to live here, that they can afford to live here as well. We've included discussion about the missing middle options, which is really the area between single family and multiple family. There's all kinds of townhouse, duplex, quadruplex options that might be appropriate in some areas. On the thoroughfare plan, that includes the functional classification as well as updated cross sections. In the services, there's a plan for the expanded city hall and civic center, as well as other things like internet service, funding, continue efforts to expand EMS, public works, fire department, and even some incentives to attract an emergency medical facility here. There's not really one on the island. Maybe a way to get a minor emergency facility here that would help out, especially during the summertime. We've even talked about a residential sticker program that might be looked at. We've included recommendations for slip roads, which are a type of frontage roads along SH 361, as well as some signalized interchanges. Of course, a new right turn lane at cutoff would be one that was very popular through the process. Maybe some bike improvements, maybe some citywide on-street bike improvements, as well as maybe looking at more frequent shuttle routes. There's even a recommendation in there for a pedestrian ferry to be looked at. As the ferry gets really crowded during the summertime, if there was one that was maybe for for pedestrians as well as maybe for golf carts, that might be something that might be interesting and take the load off the ferry. So at any rate, those are some of the recommendations within the plan. On the implementation part, there's 56 action items. They're in the back. They relate to all of these goals and these recommendations. There's a checklist. It's a checklist that the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council can use to help check their progress on the plan. As we mentioned last time, there was some recent changes. The copy that's on website now, as well as we have some copies tonight. Those have the corrections. There wasn't substantive changes, but this is a list of them to be truth in lending. But we corrected the remaining typos and the population. We made sure the population numbers were synced in. We added the total number of engagement numbers, as well as some minor things like pictures, things of that nature. We did remove the references to the Old Town Preservation Board, since that board is no longer in operation. The park plan that you had approved, we made sure that we were aligned with those recommendations within that. And then we did make sure that to monitor the STRs, to make sure that you review the complaints, not just the citations, and that was on page 100. So those are the additions since last month. The next steps for tonight, here's what we're recommending. You've already conducted the public hearing. That's been done, but now the Planning and Zoning Commission, City Council need to discuss the draft plan, ask any questions, make any comments, consider any additions that you would like to have if there are any. But then the Planning and Zoning Commission needs to make its recommendation to the City Council, and then the City Council needs to adopt. I believe there's a resolution in your packet of how that should work. Mayor, that includes my comments for this evening. Be glad to answer any questions before I turn it back over to you all in Planning and Zoning Commission. City Council have any questions? Be glad to answer those.
Anyone on council have any questions for Dan about the preparation changes, anything discussed?
No, ma'am.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you all trusting this important process to us, and we enjoyed it immensely. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much, Dan. Chairman Shimidas?
So I've been through a lot of this, so. Do any of the P and Z commissioners have questions, comments?
I'd like to commend it. I thought they did an outstanding job and their involvement in the community and essentially creating a real strong consensus document for the community, which I think was, personally, I think was outstanding, and they did a great job. So thank you.
Fully agree with the point. With that, can I invite a motion?
I was gonna make a motion that we recommend approval. Recommend the comprehensive plan to City Council to approve.
That's that, as presented.
Yes, we're looking.
Second.
We got a motion from Marty Balin and a second from Mike Jam. Craig Scott,
Yes.
Barney Farley,
Yes.
Marty Balin,
Yes.
Mike Jam,
Yes.
Chad Schmidt,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, item B is City Council's opportunity to discuss and take action on the resolution approving the moving forward Port Aransas 2023 comprehensive plan.
I think it was a job well done. I think we had great community input, and I'd like to see it move forward. So that's just my thoughts.
I agree. I think Dan and everybody at Friesen Nichols did a great job. Our community, P and Z, everybody. It was a big community involvement and y'all did a great job. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Brian, please call the roll.
Christensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Seeloff,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Krueger,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Park,
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right.
All right. Congratulations. And thank you very much, Dan, and your team, and all those that were a part of the process. It feels good to know that we have an updated and new comprehensive plan.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right. We're adjourned.
Wow.
For us.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just do it.
Just in case.
Call to adjourn the City of Port Aransas Planning and Zoning Commission Joint Special Meeting Thursday, April 20th at 4:19 p.m.
Double meeting.
Wow, record time.
See you back at five.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I know.